to WorldView, a roundup of important world news over the past week. My name is Katie.
Hello, and my name is Julia. This week, the United Nations Security Council was pushing for a vote to deal with the crisis in Syria. It was forced to take no action, however, because of vetoes from both Russia and China. The UN's current plan is to force the president of Syria to give his power to the vice president until elections can be held. Meanwhile, the government cannot attack civilians and must release all political prisoners.
This week, the violence in Syria is raging more than ever. As the government clashed with its people, an estimated 100 people died during one anti-government demonstration, and the death toll is still rising. Violence and terror have spread throughout the country, and the town of Homs, a stronghold of the anti-government forces, was attacked several times by shelling. The government, however, denied this allegation and blamed these attacks on armed terrorist groups. The government also added that these disputes started after civilians blew up pipelines.
The Prime Minister of Iran has issued a statement saying a war with the United States would be 10 times more damaging to the United States than Iran. Many believe this statement is a sign of a future nuclear attack on America. The danger of Iran developing a WMD is very high, and the United Nations is becoming very concerned.
According to senior Pentagon officials and military officers, the United States plans to decrease its combat role in Afghanistan 1 year earlier than planned. Military operations there will be the responsibility of the Special Operations Forces. They will target insurgent leaders and train local troops. Special operations will most likely remain a long time after the NATO mission ends in 2014. If President Obama approves this plan, it will be one of the most significant changes since the U.S. invaded Afghanistan. And under this new plan, American troops will be the first to leave, while thousands of American Special Operation Forces will remain.
Last Saturday, anti-government protesters gathered in Moscow to demonstrate against Vladimir Putin, the current Prime Minister of Russia. Organizers estimate about 120,000 people were protesting against Putin, running for a third term. Others have put the number at 36,000. One protester was quoted as saying, "We are a snowball and we are rolling." Protests of this size are very unusual in Russia.
In Cairo, 74 fans were killed in a violent and chaotic outbreak between the fans at a soccer match last Wednesday. Fans rushed onto the field to celebrate Al-Masri's 3-1 victory against top-ranked Al-Ahly. Pictures show fans grabbing and beating supporters of the opposing team. The injured players had to wait an hour before emergency crews were able to enter the stadium. The police arrested 47 people and one policeman was killed during this rampage. All league games have been canceled.
Last Sunday, several masked gunmen blew up an Egyptian oil pipeline, which supplies oil to Israel. This attack is the 12th attack against the pipeline. The first of these began during uprisings against President Mubarak. Some sources say the attack was made after a popular Islamic leader died in a prison cell in Cairo. Fortunately, there were no casualties during the attack.
Recently, 3 sheep herders in Tibet set themselves on fire because they felt that their voices weren't being heard by the Chinese. The Chinese communists invaded Tibet in 1949 and slowly gained control of the country. Citizens in this small country that borders China now feels that self-sacrifice may be gaining popularity as a form of dissent. This action is also spreading beyond the Tibetan monks, who have led protests in the past. Out of the 3 men that set themselves on fire, 1 died and the other 2 were severely injured.
A recovery team has received permission to begin salvaging a legendary warship which sank in the English Channel in 1744. Unfortunately, after initial exploration, the team discovered that a fishing dredger had destroyed many artifacts for years. For years the team had wanted to recover the wreck, but the French claimed that they had the right to the ship. Documents claim that the ship, HMS Victory, holds at least 4 tons of gold coins worth $1 billion.
Many people in Europe have died from the extreme cold of a severe snowstorm that swept through the European countries this week. 32 villages in a valley near Rome lost electricity due to the snow. The valley is home to roughly 50,000 people. The area received 200 inches of snow. Ambulances can't use the roads, and the villagers aren't able to get to their stables to feed their livestock. Many citizens feel that they need the help of the Army to save them from this terrible disaster. Here's Clark with the sports news.
Thus far this winter, sports season has been great. Starting out with JV boys basketball, they have had a record of 11-9. JV girls are currently 8-12. Varsity girls have a remarkable record of 15-4. Varsity boys have been going hard in the paint all year, making them 15-4 as well. Winter sports are wrapping up, which means if you haven't signed up for a spring sport, you really need to soon. Now it's time for El Tiempo Escuelas.
Buenos días, amigos. Yo me llamo Andreas.
Y yo me llamo Anayansi. Bienvenidos al programa El Tiempo Escuelas. Este es el pronóstico para el fin de semana.
Viernes, la temperatura alta es de 54 grados. Va a estar parcialmente nublado. Sábado, la temperatura alta es de 47 grados. Va a estar parcialmente soleado. Domingo, la temperatura alta es de 49 grados. Va a estar